As a millennial, I've grown up in a corporatized society, and I feel ethically torn between indulging in this consumerist lifestyle or just being more conscious of the impact that it's having on our environment. I want to find a sustainable balance between the two and ultimately just have more regard for how things get into my possessions. So Lynda Windsor is an artist and a scholar, and she's really dedicated her life to overcoming this challenge. I'm gonna go see her and hopefully get some guidance.
One of the drivers really for what we do is that we understand that there's a certain responsibility in providing whatever you can for yourself, and a supermarket could be empty in 3 days, and we feel that we could cope a lot better because we usually have good gardens growing. There's a lot of social inequity tied up with food production, and people maybe just don't see it. Growing your own and making your own and raising your own whatever is a way that you can actually have some responsibility. We got mangoes, grapefruit, limes, lychees, oranges, lemons, tangerine. We have coffee growing, lemonades, grammacacha, japoticaba. We've got wampies. These are bush tucker plants. There's more. We're completely off-grid with solar power, and this is our battery storage here. So we have quite a large bank of very big batteries. We have plenty of power to do whatever we want with. We run pretty much normal appliances that everyone runs, except that we have to be mindful of the weather. About a year after I bought the property that I met Greg, and he's been really instrumental in building a lot of what goes on here on the property. We're both artists, so he's a sculptor and I'm a painter. So a lot of what we do is, extended art.
Why do you think that living this kind of life is a bit far-fetched for some people, that this is a bit out of their realm of reality?
I think it's just that we've forgotten. A lot of it is just the old ways of doing things, whether it's cutting firewood or growing your own vegetables or preserving the fruit that you grow. People see that as a little bit boring, I think, and in a modern age I can understand that, but I do think that the bright lights and the distractions of the digital age get a bit hollow after a while. As time goes on, people will turn back towards more traditional ways of doing things. So we made a little bathhouse outside. Come and have a look. A bit of mosaic, which we played with. It's all run on rainwater, as is the whole place. So this is our glorious view. This takes in the cold water, and it's got a copper coil in the middle up here. Goes around in here. You might be able to see if you look up in there or not. And the water heats and it travels back up to the hot water system and it reticulates so that we get boiling hot water. Just a few sticks. We have a compost loo here which has a waterless toilet, and all of the collection falls down through the floor into this big tank here, where it winds its way down through a sort of baffle system and takes a couple of years to break down, And at the bottom, out comes compost, which we use on all our fruit trees. It doesn't stink, it's just soil. We collect all our own water here, so we collect rainwater, and it's connected basically from the guttering, as everyone knows, into our tanks there. And we have 2 large tanks. This is 20,000 litres, so we have 2 20,000 litre tanks and 1 header tank, which is at the other end of the shed. So all of our water is gravity fed, and it gets to us without any use of any fossil fuels. We're working now to establish wicking beds and different ways of growing that, you know, economises the water, so that we can grow our vegetables, because that is what we desire to do. I think it's really our job to keep that, or bring it to the younger generations and say, look, this is how else you can do things. Live honestly, lightly. So to really look at your life. Go and join a community garden. Make compost. Even if you take that compost and put it in a pot plant, it's still better than throwing it in the bin, because everything you throw in the bin takes energy to deal with. You're just shipping the problem offshore. I'm supporting local farmers, and also the grocers that I go to do local backyard project. So people bring their over excess in and they sell it through the shop. I know that it's fresh, it hasn't got food miles, it's generally, you know, organic, clean, and I tend to eat every last bit of it, and I plan what I cook, and I eat every last bit of it, and I never throw stuff away.
Everyone feels like we need the latest of everything, and like what we have is not good enough. We need to buy and buy and buy.
Yeah, and to that I just say, why?
Lynda has helped reiterate to me that everyone in this world holds the power to be a catalyst for change. It just takes one person to break free from overconsumption to have a trickle effect on others. One person can provide hope for the future of our environment. I'm grateful to have access to somebody like Lynda. I wish that her lifestyle was normality, because the world would be a much different place.
I would agree with Vandana Shiva, who is an anti-corporate globalist, says the greatest act of rebellion that a person can do is to plant seeds.
Do people view this then as a bit eccentric?
Yeah, most people think we're really off the planet, but
wild
we're
hippies.
not, but we're not, you know.